Yo guys, what is up? And I'm coming at you with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about something a little bit more serious, and that is the school shooting that took place in Florida like last week or maybe the week before that. I don't exactly remember, but basically what happened is Nicholas Cruz went into a school that he attended. He had since, I'm not sure if he graduated or what, but I'm pretty sure he still wasn't going to that school because he was 19, but he went in there with an assault rifle and killed 17 people. And this most recent school shooting has pretty much been the breaking point in America. You know, we've had tons of mass shootings ever since Columbine. That was pretty much where it all started, and since then, you know, we've had Sandy Hook, we had the Vegas thing, we had the movie theater thing, we had that Stevie Steve guy who just drove around and shot random people for like 2 days. So yeah, this is pretty much the breaking point, and actual solutions are now being discussed as to how to deal with this. And you know, as you can tell from the title of this video, I don't believe any of those solutions are good, and I don't believe that there is a real solution to this problem in the United States, and I'm gonna go ahead and list why. Alright, so first off, let's start out with the solutions that are coming from the right side of the country, the Republicans and the conservatives. So as you all know, Donald Trump is currently the sitting United States president, and he has talked about things such as making schools not soft targets, which I can agree with because of the fact a lot of schools have like no real security. Many of the schools I went to growing up, you could just walk in and out any door and nobody would ever notice, which that shit definitely should not be allowed. I mean, it's so easy just to walk into a school and nobody even noticed that you went in. So yeah, that shit does definitely need to be addressed. He talked about things such as putting like armed guards in school, which I think would be the most practical solution, like armed, trained, like either police officers, maybe if you want to have like a National Guard soldier or two stationed there, or you know, if you want to hire like a private security company to stand outside of the school. Now this security needs to be armed. Like a shooter is not going to care about, you know, a security guard that's unarmed, and they need to be trained, and they need to be not old, because there was in fact a school resource officer that was on site at the school, but you know, he's an old guy, and whenever the shooting went down, he didn't go in to try and stop him. So you know, it needs to be somebody that's trained, that's been in like, you know, deadly situations before and knows how to act. You know, the GOP and Trump have also talked about arming teachers, which I'm not too sure about, because that could start other problems, because you know, teachers are people too, and you know, teachers have snapped on students before and physically assaulted them. So who's to say, you know, a teacher that was armed wouldn't snap on a student and, you know, start killing students? That'd be very fucking bad. So I'm not too keen on that idea, but I think the most practical thing to do would be, you know, have one entrance where students go in and out, have like checkpoints, and have armed guards, and I think that'd be, you know, a pretty fair solution. Also, what Trump is doing right now on the part of gun control is he's trying to raise the age that you should be able to get a rifle to 21, because as of right now, federal law is you can be 18 to buy a long gun such as a rifle, and in other states I think the age may be lower. Federal law says you have to be 21 to get a pistol and 21 to conceal carry, which that doesn't really make sense to me, because I mean, you can do, I guess that does make sense, because you can kind of do more damage with a pistol. You can hide it a lot easier because it's smaller, and you can probably do the same amount of damage because a pistol is semi-automatic, and you know, the range that you're going to be firing at inside of a building like a school, you're really not going to need the long range capabilities of like an assault rifle. And also he wants to ban the bump stocks, which is basically a stock that uses the recoil from the weapon to turn a semi-auto into somewhat of a fully automatic weapon. So he's going to try and ban those. Apparently that was used in the Las Vegas shooting. So, you know, I guess those are pretty practical. I really do agree with the school security. You know, they should only have one way in and one way out, and somebody should always be checking as to who these people are that are coming into school, and that shit really needs to be monitored. So now let's look at the solutions that are coming from the left side of the country, the liberals, the progressive, the Democrats. Alright, so the main solution from the liberal side of things is to basically ban assault rifles. They are heavily focused on gun control, which is very hard to get through in the United States, because in our Constitution there's a thing called the Bill of Rights, which is like the first 10 amendments. First Amendment's freedom of speech. Second Amendment is the right for citizens to bear arms. It's been very controversial, but it is in the Constitution that you have the right in the United States of America to own firearms to protect yourself and, defend the country and shit like that. So, it's very hard to get gun control passed, and if they wanted it their way, no citizen would have guns, period. That's what they want. And, the assault rifle ban, I mean, even if they did do that, which it's very highly unlikely that shit will ever pass in this country, people are just not going to turn in their guns. I mean, it's going to cause problems. I mean, there's plenty of police and military who are also private gun owners who also probably own assault rifles. They're not going to want to turn them in either. So, I mean, you're going to have a problem with, like, mutiny within the police and the military. You're going to have, I mean, even if the government did, like, a buyback for assault rifles, people still, even at that point, wouldn't probably turn them in just based on principle, and they would be willing to go to jail over that fact. I mean, guns are so ingrained in American culture. People take that shit seriously. It's like a patriotic thing here. Like, you're supposed to be proud, to have the right to have weapons to defend yourself. So people are just not going to turn that shit in. And especially if they went all out with the gun control and said nobody can have a weapon, that's, especially with how politics are right now in this country, that would pretty much kick off another civil war. I mean, that's exactly what the fuck would happen. It would cause way more problems than what's worth it. Another thing they're big on is mental health, which, yeah, that is a big deal. They were saying there's not very many mental asylums in this country anymore. They were kind of closed down during like the 50s and 60s because they had a bad rap of like doing weird experiments on patients, like lobotomies and shit. And, a lot of those places back in the day mistreated a lot of their patients. There's not a whole lot of places now to take people with very severe mental problems like there were back in the day. So they want to open up more of those. I will say I do agree with more like strict background checks as far as, I think you need to have a mental health examination before you purchase any kind of firearm, because obviously the kid that did this, he's got some fucking problems. I mean, you got some fucking problems anyways to just want to go into the school and like kill 17 people for no fucking reason. I mean, I know the kid obviously had problems at home and stuff, and but that's still no reason to like just shoot random people. Like that's no fucking excuse. Another thing that's been talked about on both sides is the violence in video games and movies, which is just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I've been watching violent movies. I mean, even all these new Marvel movies, Black Panther, that shit's violent. Like, they beat each other up and shit. There's guns in Marvel movies, and the media praises that. But yeah, that's just stupid. I mean, I've been playing violent video games almost all my life. Call of Duty, Battlefield. The majority of the games I play are first-person shooters, and I've never once had the urge to go on a mass killing spree. So, no, that shit has nothing to do with it. But yeah, there needs to be like some kind of mental health background check before you purchase an assault rifle. So with all that being said, as far as my personal opinion on the matter, I believe that even if they put in place the stuff that I agree with like higher security in schools and mental health background checks whenever you're purchasing firearms and shit like that, there will still be mass shootings. Even if they went with gun control, like full-on gun control, nobody's allowed to have a weapon, they're now illegal in the United States, people would still find a way to get a gun. Like, it's like there's so many guns here, it's gonna fall into the hands of somebody that shouldn't have one at some point. It's just inevitable. And many of these mass shooters, ultimately at the end of their rampage, whenever the police and shit show up, they end up killing themselves. That's what happened with Columbine. So, even if you put armed security at a school, they need to be ready to stop them, because people like that, like, they don't care if they live or die. They will go in and they will have a firefight with whoever and try to kill as many people as possible. Like, those people do not give a fuck about anything anymore, and they are well prepared to die. So yeah, there's that. And ultimately, I don't think mass shootings are going to stop. I have no idea what the fuck caused this. Like I said, ever since Columbine, it's been an issue here in the United States. I mean, citizens have been allowed to have firearms ever since the inception of the country, and it hasn't been a problem up until Columbine. And Columbine pretty much kicked it off. I have no idea what the fuck it is, if it's a societal problem, if it's maybe kids in my generation being prescribed massive amounts of antidepressants. That shit's doing more harm than good. Maybe these kids with like depression and anxiety and stuff, maybe they need more therapy rather than medicine. I mean, I don't know what the fuck's happening, but all I know is it doesn't seem likely to stop, even if they do enact some of these things that they're talking about. I feel like it will still continue. It may continue less, but I do definitely feel like it will still continue. So that's just my thoughts on it. Let me guys know how you feel about it. I know this is like kind of like not happy shit to talk about it, but you know, I felt like it should be talked about, you know, since I have a platform. I figured I'd be the one to do it. But yeah, guys, if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Bye.